There are stories in baseball that explode into the world with fireworks, accompanied by hype, expectation, and publicity machines that seem built months in advance. Then there are the other stories, the ones that arrive quietly, humbly, almost anonymously, until one moment changes everything. Davis Schneider belongs to the second group. He is the definition of the unlikely hero, the overlooked diamond, the quiet worker laboring in the shadows until the lights finally find him. And when they did, when his moment arrived, he didn't just step into it. He owned it. He turned his opportunity into a spectacle so improbable, so electrifying, that the entire baseball world had no choice but to stop and stare. But the brilliance of Davis Schneider doesn't live solely in that breakout moment. It lives in everything that came before it, everything that shaped him, everything that continues to fuel him. His story is a testament to resilience, work ethic, self-belief, and the truth that greatness sometimes blooms far from where anyone is looking. Before the headlines, before the sudden roar of Rogers Center, before the swirling conversations about confidence and unexpected stardom, Davis Schneider was simply a kid with a dream, an undersized, unheralded baseball player who loved the game deeply enough to pursue it without needing validation. He wasn't the top-ranked prospect in his class. He wasn't the physically dominant athlete scouts circled in red ink. He was the opposite, a 28th round draft pick, a selection so late that many players in that range never reached the majors at all. To be drafted that late in the modern era means you're fighting uphill from day one. It means you enter a system where you are almost invisible, where expectations are low, opportunities are scarce, and the margin for error is razor thin. But Schneider never let his draft position define him. He took it as fuel. He took it as a challenge. He took it as a reminder that if he wanted to build a career in baseball, he would have to outwork, outthink, and outlast almost everyone. From the moment he stepped into the Blue Jays minor league system, he understood something essential. Nothing would be handed to him. He had to carve his own place. And he did exactly that, not through flash or hype, but through consistency, through preparation, through doing the little things that separate players who fade from players who endure. Schneider developed slowly, steadily. He learned to command the strike zone. He learned patience. He learned discipline. He became the kind of hitter who rarely wastes an at-bat, not because he's chasing home runs, but because he respects the craft. He became a student of timing, approach, and smart situational baseball. Teammates saw quickly that he wasn't the kind of player who coasts. Coaches recognized a fire in him that statistics alone couldn't capture. But even with that work ethic, nothing was easy. In the minors, players like Schneider face a constant reality. The line between staying and being released is always thin. Schneider saw teammates come and go. He experienced stretches where his swing didn't feel right, where numbers dipped, where pressure felt overwhelming. He spent years grinding through bus rides, sparsely filled stadiums, unpredictable schedules, and uncertain futures. But he never quit. He never stopped believing there was a major league player inside him. And that belief, paired with relentless work, became the foundation of everything he would later build. His rise wasn't sudden if you had been watching closely. Schneider began sharpening his offensive game piece by piece. He reinvented himself physically and mentally. He unlocked power that hadn't always been there. He understood his strengths, patience, selectivity, strike zone mastery, and he found ways to turn those strengths into weapons. By the time the Blue Jays began noticing him more seriously, he had evolved into one of the most disciplined hitters in the organization, someone who refused to chase pitches out of desperation or fear. He stepped into every at-bat with conviction, with purpose, with clarity. These are things you cannot teach easily. These are things that define professional longevity. And then came the moment that changed everything, his call-up. For a player like Schneider, that phone call is not just a promotion. It is the culmination of every invisible hour nobody applauded. It is the validation of belief against the odds. It is proof that dreams sometimes require patience measured not in months, but in years. When he walked into the Toronto Blue Jays clubhouse wearing that now iconic mustache and the confidence of someone who had waited long enough, something felt different. Even before the first pitch, even before the first swing, there was something in his demeanor, something calm, grounded, steady. But what happened next made baseball history. In his first major league at-bat, Schneider didn't just record his first hit. He launched a home run, a towering shot, a declaration that he belonged. And suddenly, the stadium erupted. Suddenly, the world noticed the previously unheralded 28th round pick. Suddenly, Davis Schneider became a story, a big story. And while one great moment can be dismissed as luck, Schneider didn't stop. He followed that home run with one of the most spectacular opening weekends a player has ever had. He hit everything. He reached base constantly. Every at-bat looked like one he had spent a lifetime preparing for. It wasn't luck. It wasn't coincidence. It was the emergence of a player who had been sharpening himself for years, waiting for a door to crack open. Fans embraced him instantly. How could they not? He wasn't just performing. He was proving something about the heart of the sport. Baseball is a game where narratives favor the polished prospect, the superstar pedigree, the perfect swing. And yet here was Davis Schneider, defying every expectation, reminding everyone that baseball still has room for the improbable, the unexpected, the magical. His breakout wasn't simply about numbers. It was about joy, energy, emotion. It was about the spark he brought every time he stepped onto the field. He played with an authenticity that resonated deeply with people. He looked like he was living a dream, because he was. And as he continued proving himself, another truth became clear. Schneider wasn't a fluke. His approach was real. His skill was real. His plate discipline was elite. Few players in the league understand the strike zone as intimately as he does. Few hitters have the courage to stay selective in high-pressure situations. Schneider's game is built on intelligence, patience, and confidence, not the loud flash of raw talent, but the sharp edge of refined skill. He became the kind of hitter pitchers dreaded because he didn't swing at their pitches. He forced them to come to him. And when they did, he punished them. His story also resonated because of his humanity. Schneider doesn't carry himself like a superstar. He carries himself like someone who understands how fragile opportunity can be. He signs autographs. He smiles with fans. He plays loose, but with intention. There is humility in him, but also quiet fire. That combination makes him magnetic, not just to his teammates, but to anyone who loves seeing hard work pay off. Even during inevitable challenges, the adjustments pitchers made, the cold stretches that test every hitter's confidence, Schneider remained grounded. Every major leaguer experiences slumps. It's part of the game. But Schneider navigated them with maturity. He didn't panic. He didn't abandon the approach that made him successful. He trusted his process. That level of poise is rare for someone so early in his career, but it fits perfectly with his personality. Steady, thoughtful, centered. What makes Schneider special, beyond statistics, is the example he sets. He is a role model for young athletes who aren't the tallest, the fastest, the strongest, or the most hyped. He shows them that baseball rewards persistence. That mental strength can elevate you beyond physical limitations. That you don't need to dominate at 17 to become impactful at 25. That belief, paired with relentless work, can carve a path no one else thought existed. He proves something else, too. Character matters. Schneider plays the game respectfully. He communicates with intention. He embraces coaching. He treats teammates with kindness. He carries gratitude for the opportunity he has been given. In a sport that can often elevate ego, Schneider is a reminder of the beauty of humility. And as his story continues, the future feels bright. What he has already accomplished is extraordinary, but it is not the ceiling. It is the foundation. He has shown the ability to adjust, to grow, to evolve. He has displayed power, discipline, and versatility. And most importantly, he has shown the mental resilience required to thrive long-term in a league that challenges even the greatest players. But beyond future projections and baseball analysis, his impact is already meaningful. He gave fans moments they will never forget. He brought energy to a clubhouse when it was needed. He inspired thousands of young athletes. He reminded the baseball world that the late-round pick still matters, that the underdog still has a place, that dreams can still come true through relentless work. His journey is more than a sports story. It's a life story, a narrative about perseverance, identity, purpose, and the courage to keep believing when no one else does. Davis Schneider is a symbol of hope for all who feel underestimated. He is proof that sometimes the greatest stories begin quietly, far from the spotlight, in the spaces where persistence is the only guiding force. As time goes on, fans will remember the mustache, the stance, the discipline, the swagger that never crossed into arrogance. But more than that, they will remember the feeling, the excitement of watching someone seize a moment they earned through years of unrecognized work. They will remember how he made them believe again in the magic of baseball, and they will carry that memory long after the final inning of his career. Davis Schneider's tribute isn't just about what he has done, it is about who he is. A worker, a believer, a fighter, a dreamer, a talent forged more by perseverance than by privilege. His story is inspiring, his presence is meaningful, and his journey, still unfolding, stands as one of the most uplifting tales in modern baseball. He is living proof that greatness sometimes comes from the most unexpected places, and that the heart of the game still beats strongest in those who refuse to let go of the dream.